everybody, I'm Danger Gen Vex, and today I'm going to introduce you to one of my very best friends while we talk about some of our favorite South African foods. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Keita Darkwolf.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Probably not the best introduction in the world ever, but hey, this is my very first time ever recording anything, so bear with me here.
We're bearing. That's
Good to know.
No, but it's fine. So, we just want to talk about some of our favorite South African foods and then maybe share one or two recipes with you so you can try them out and let us know what you think. So, what are some of your favorite foods?
Oh, well, I've got a lot of them. But for me, mostly what I like the best about South African food is the baking. We've got some really, really good stuff to bake, especially the breads and the biscuit. I'm not sure what biscuit is called in English, actually.
You know what?
Biscuits? No, it's not biscuits.
No, I think it's called rusks.
Rusks, that's the word
Rusks.
we're looking for. Like a boere biscuit. Boere rusks, I suppose.
Absolutely, with a nice hot cup of coffee. Come on, you can't you can't separate me from my vice.
No. You can't have biscuit without coffee, or even cookies for that matter.
You can't have anything without coffee in your life.
Well, you can't maybe, but I certainly can.
Yeah, I know. For me, I do love the desserts, like the malva pudding and...
Oh, yes.
Yes, nice juicy malva pudding. But when it comes to like main courses, I like the stuff like the boerewors and the braai and the bunny chow and potjiekos and
Yeah, you're just a little carnivore, you.
anything with meat I will probably eat. Unless it's chicken feet. I do not do chicken feet. I do not do mpani worms.
Oh, goodness no. And actually, those are quite popular foods here in certain parts of South Africa. It's not just the mpani worms and the chicken feet. It's also sheep's head and cow's head and all sorts of offal and all sorts of things like that. It's actually quite popular here.
I know it's quite popular, but I still can't bring myself to eat it. The first time I ever had a neck, actually chicken neck, was I was visiting my grandmother, and she put this thing on my plate that looked like like a small sausage. You know those mini boerewors?
Yes, I do know those.
So I was eating this thing, and I thought it tasted good, but it didn't taste like vors. And in case you guys don't know what vors is, this is vors. So I was having the vors, what I thought was vors, and I'm eating this thing, and I'm like, Gran, what is this? I've never had this before. It tastes so strange. Good, but strange. And she tells me that it's a chicken's neck. I did not finish the rest of that thing.
I can imagine. Oh, goodness. Our grandparents ate the weirdest things ever.
They did. They thought, I don't know what went through their heads. But they did give us some of the most delicious desserts and foods that you can get.
Well, this is certainly true. I mean, you need to look no further than malva pudding or a very good Cape brandy pudding, also known as tipsy tart, or even what was that other one called? A gooseberry tart. Oh.
What about, I don't know, is it trifle? No, what is it?
Oh.
What they usually do is this layered thing with the jelly and the cake and the finger biscuits. Is it trifle? And then they hide the coins in it for us to get.
Really?
Yeah, that's what my
That's
grandma...
not the tradition that we ever did. Interesting.
My gran did that all the time. I wonder sometimes if it wasn't the only way she could get us to eat the pudding, though. Because while everybody adored this pudding, layered with custard and finger biscuits and all of that, I love finger biscuits. I do. But when they're all soaked and soggy with this stuff, they just... So everybody else would be gaga over this thing with the jelly and everything, and the only reason I would eat the bloody pudding was so that I could get to the coins.
Well then, good on your gran.
Yeah, it was
That
very,
was a
very
smart
smart.
old lady there.
Oh, she was. She was very smart. She was a brilliant woman. So I think I'm going to tackle a nice bunny chow as my featured recipe. And then I've got my dad's poiki recipe to share with you guys. So I think you guys might enjoy that. Those are two of my favorite dishes, mainly because even though they can contain vegetables, and in the case of poiki, have to contain vegetables, which, if you haven't noticed by now, is not my favorite type of sustenance in the world. They are very, very meat-based, which is why I love them.
And I will probably be sharing with you some, the dessert recipes probably.
Fantastic. So would you like to start, or should I start with one of my mains?
Let's go with the main, because dessert is always the last to go.
Hey, not necessarily. Sometimes it's fine to have dessert before your main course.
Especially if it's a dessert pizza.
Dessert pizza. Now I want indeed shows. I still want pizza. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with the poiki recipe, which I got from my dad. He actually SMS'd it to me, so I had to write it down on a little piece of paper. But it's a sheep's neck recipe for poiki. Now, I know that I said, I'm not all that fond of the weird meats, but sheep's neck doesn't count because it's poiki.
Okay, you say so.
Hashtag
when we
logic.
make poiki, no, we don't use that kind of thing when we make poiki, because, my family's a little bit weird. My mother and me, we can't eat those things.
Why not?
We really can't. No, I don't know, it's just something in our genetics probably. Those kind of things just will not go down.
But what if you don't know that it's sheep's neck?
That's why people probably don't tell us and we don't ask, usually.
Well, you could
Don't
probably
ask,
use... Well, you could probably use any nice kind of, stew meat. It's a very simple recipe, and I'm not going to give you quantities, because when it comes to poiki, you've got to kind of feel it out. The ratios have got to be what you like, meat to vegetables, and I don't think I've ever seen a set recipe for poiki. Have you?
No, not really. This
Not
is varied
really.
from place to place.
Yeah.
From person to person, even.
True. What is non-negotiable is you're going to need hot coals, meat, and one of these. A poiki. What is it? A cast iron big bloody black pot cauldron. That's what you're gonna need, and preferably one with legs so you can stick it right into the coals. For this, you're gonna need some onions, baby potatoes because they're the best, carrots, you can dice them or slice them if you want to, but just make sure they're very nice and chunky slices. Gem squash, creamed corn, and sweet potatoes. The first thing you're gonna do, and you want to start this early because more often than not, this thing needs to stew for a while. You're gonna take your poiki and you're gonna put it on the hot coals, and then you're just gonna let that warm while you start everything else, so grab a beer, hang out with your friends or family or whatever while this thing warms. Then you're going to saute your onions, and everything is pretty chunky. Now, you can dice the onions fine if you want, but they get really soft in a poiki. So I know some people use those baby onions, those small onions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could use those whole if you like. Saute the onions. You've got to braai your skopsnak. Or whatever meat, okay? If you don't know what braai is, I've talked about this before. It's like barbecue, only better.
Much better. Speaking as a person who actually had American barbecue, I can say with absolute confidence, braai is much better.
Yeah, no, because we don't just take shit and toss it onto the fire. You've got to do the spices, and sometimes you've got to soak it overnight. We're very picky about our braai.
Extremely. There's actually such a thing as braai masters.
Yes, it is an art here. There are very few people's braai I will actually eat in South Africa. My dad being one of them, my own being another, and my brothers because my dad taught him. While that's happening and while the Skop snack is being braaied and everything, you want to boil your baby potatoes with your carrots, and then the sweet potato and the gem squash you want to cook separately. Now, you don't want, everything has to still be, you don't want them soft. So the baby potatoes, the carrots, the sweet potato, you don't want them, very, very soft, because all of it is going to go into a pot for several hours. So you don't want them to completely cook away. Just cook them enough. Okay, depending on how soft you like your potatoes, at the end of the process. And then, like I said, the gem squash separately. What you're going to do when you've pretty much got everything cooked is you're going to take the insides of the gem squash out, mix it with the creamed corn, and then toss everything, and I mean everything, in the pot, okay, with spices and stock and everything else that you think would make that, the flavors that you enjoy. You can put garlic in there if you like, and peppers. I know some people use peppers. It's not a personal favorite of mine, but you can put it all in the potjie, okay? And as I said again, this is a picture of potjie. This is a potjie. Yummy. So you just let that cook. And cook and cook and cook and cook and cook. I know some people cook their potjies for a whole damn day.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a very kind of slow cook over the coals. Maybe it's because the pot is so big. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, those traditionally ones that take that long are usually when they serve the whole family. Because usually Afrikaners tend to do makkie. It's when it's like the equivalent of the American hoedown. You get the whole family together and you make this one big fat pot with the potjie and the braai and everything.
Yeah, and if you're lucky, then you've got a second potjie on the fire with the potbrood, but I'll leave that to you.
Yes. Oh.
But you've got that going, and then at the end you just put cheese, great cheese all over it, because cheese! And, scoop it up and enjoy. And don't give us tiny little bowls. You want a nice big bowl with your potjie. And you go and get your second helpings or third helpings, or, just eat until the whole potjie is empty, because it's that good.
What do you usually have with your potjie? Do you go with pap, or do you use yellow rice, or? It
depends, really. Sometimes we use pap. My mom sometimes makes pap with it, but either we eat it as is, or we eat it with rice. Dad is very, very fond of rice.
Okay. For the American viewers, pap would be the equivalent of grits.
Of what?
Grits.
Grits?
Grits, yes. That's what they call it. It's not quite the same as our pap. It's a lot coarser than ours, but it's fairly similar.
I've learned something new. For me, it's always just been pap. A nice chunky piece of pap. Maize. I don't know, maize.
Yeah, white maize pap. Wit mielie pap.
Wit mielie pap. Mielies! For those of you who don't know, mielies is corn on the cob. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Mielies is corn. But we call it mielies, because mielies.
And of course, you can't have a braai without a mielie. Nice little corn on the cob or a little braai broodjie.
Braai broodjies. Yum, 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 yum. God, I love braai broodjies. Just for interest's sake, this is a braai broodjie, and it's bloody good because you put tomato and onion and cheese and just load the thing and then toss it on the fire, and it's brilliant, okay? Awesome.
No argument from me.
Before I tackle my second recipe, which is going to be the bunny chow, tell us about a dessert to go with our potjie.
Well, traditionally with a potjie, you would have something like maltat. A maltat is a dead easy thing to make. It's not that complicated, but of course, as with all South African recipes, there's a gazillion variations on the thing.
Can I make one request?
Yes.
I want my milk tart to have a base of crushed tennis biscuits, not that doughy, deeghy piece of blech. I want tennis biscuits.
Yeah, now you need a decent tennis biscuit thing to go with that.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, to make the crust is dead easy. You just take tennis biscuits, crush it, add a little bit of sugar, and or a little bit of butter. You melt the butter and soak that the crushed tennis biscuits in there, and mix in 1 egg. Then you just press it into the pan, and then it's ready for the filling. So that is dead easy to do and really not complicated. Now the filling is basically it's a type of a custard, so it's easy to make. All you do is take 3 cups of milk, half a cup of sugar, 2 spoons of butter. You melt all of this on the stove together. So you add 2 spoons of maizena and 2 spoons of sugar and 3 eggs. So you just mix all of that together, cook it on the stove for a little while until it gets a little bit thick. Then you pour it into the crust and you let it stand until you put it in the fridge until it sets.
Yeah.
Yes. You can also add a little bit of vanilla flavoring or caramel flavoring or whatever you want to. Traditionally we use caramel flavoring. I think once it's all set, you pour a bit of cinnamon on top.
I was waiting for that because that is one of the
You
best
can't have milk
parts.
that without cinnamon.
No, you can't.
No.
I mean, usually what I do is I take a spoonful, I scoop it out. Okay, so I make sure I've got tennis biscuits and the milk tart, and then I would flip it over so that I've got the cinnamon on my tongue. Okay, and then I would kind of suck it out piece by piece from the cookie, and then the cookie just afterwards until it all makes this kind of soft mixture in my mouth. I don't know why, but weird eating habits. But
I think we all do
nice.
it like that. It is so delicious. And you can of course adjust the sugar a bit to make it sweet to taste and flavor to taste. But yeah, it's dead easy. It's very, very traditional and so good.
Absolutely. But I also think this might just be my opinion, but I think a milk tart shouldn't be too sweet. That's what's nice about it for me. It's like it's just sweet enough.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It shouldn't be too sweet. But I know a few people with sweet teeth who inevitably add a little bit of extra sugar.
Well, if that makes them happy, why not?
Yeah, but I agree with you. Traditional true milk tart shouldn't be too sweet now.
And this is a milk tart with the proper crust, by the way, guys. Just so you know what you're making. This is what it should look like when you're done. And no, this is not a pie. This is a tart. Not a pie, a tart. Okay? Our pies don't look like your tarts. Okay? Sweet. You won't believe how many times... You won't believe how many times... That's a good idea. This is a pie. Okay, this is a pie. They're small, and one is for a whole person. Sometimes two for a whole person. 2 whole ones for one person.
Yeah, we eat a lot here in South Africa. We love our food.
Yeah, I said in one of the previous ones, don't give us a bloody tiny minute steak thingamabobby. If you're gonna give us steaks that are that size, give us 5 or 6. Don't be giving us no small bloody meat portions and no. Just give us a proper bloody meal.
Yes.
We have restaurants that do that. Like Spur actually has that 0.5 kilogram steak. What's it? The lazy aged steak.
Yes.
Oh, damn that thing.
So good.
It is. Anyway, so yeah, that's the difference between a pie and a tart here.
But speaking of Spur,
yes.
What kind of fast foods do you tend to enjoy here in South Africa the most? Or what kind of restaurants do you like to go to?
Restaurants. Well, obviously Spur is a staple here.
Yeah.
Everybody has gone to Spur. It's Spur. You have to go to Spur at least once if you're in South Africa.
Yeah, it's an institution here.
It is, and Spur is a steak ranch. It's divine. But one of my other favorite takeaway restaurant, Andicio's.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely,
I
because
remember. Good.
Nobody makes better pizzas in South Africa, or at least in this region, than Andicio's, in my personal opinion. Brilliant.
That is one of the things that I envy the most about you. You actually have an Andicio's over there. We don't.
Well, I don't have one. Well, I don't have one close to me anymore. I moved.
Well, when I visit you next, we'll go there.
Yay! And then the Karoo restaurants.
Oh.
Because the Karoo restaurants have a very varied whatever menu, but they have a lot of the traditional stuff as well. But my favorite thing that they've got is they bring you this whole Chateaubriand made perfectly, and they have these creamed mussels with freshly baked bread and these creamy cooked large mushrooms, stuffed mushrooms that are to die for. Now I'm really hungry now.
Oh, well, we don't have a lot of restaurants where I am at the moment, but one of the best pizzerias we have is Zana's. They use tradition. Yeah, Zana's. Xana. I think they've only got the one branch. It's a local thing. But they use traditional oven or flame oven, those dome-shaped oven things.
Yes, wood oven.
Yeah, wood oven. They've got that, and they actually make your pizza right there in front of you as you watch. They take all the fresh ingredients, place it on, put it in. You can see it there in the flame on the oven as it bakes, and it is delicious. It is at least on par with Andicio's.
I want pizza!
Okay, and it's not even South African food.
I know, but screw it. Pizza's pizza. It's a world food.
Yeah, that's true. Like hamburgers.
Exactly.
And speaking of hamburgers, I'm probably going to offend some people here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Americans, you don't know how to make hamburgers. Seriously.
What the hell is with a patty that's this size? We want patty.
It's not just the size, it's the dryness of it.
Oh,
My
yeah.
goodness.
And I've heard that they're very gritty as well. We've got our nice juicy patties.
And those thick ones, especially the steers ones.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Okay. Moving on. The other food that I wanted to share with you guys, and you must have heard me mention this before because I'm absolutely crazy about it, and I think I've showed you a picture of it before as well, is bunny chow. Because if you haven't had a good bunny, you haven't lived. I just want to clarify, a bunny chow does not contain bunny. Just to be clear, bunny chow does not contain bunny. Usually it contains lamb or beef.
And it is actually a true South African food, even though it originated with our Indian community. You won't find bunny chow in India.
Yeah, it originated it's pretty much a Durban thing. And then it just spread out from there. Now, what you would want to do with a bunny is you want to make yourself a nice curry, lamb curry. So, get nice chunks of diced lamb meat, nice bits of meat. You want garlic, you can put so many things in there. I like mine simple. Meat, maybe some baby, sliced baby potatoes. If you really have to, a little bit of mixed veggies, and then your spices and your hot sauces. So when it comes to the content of my bunny, I usually like it simple. However, you can have the meat with the potatoes and fennel and bay leaves and cloves and garlic and turmeric and onion and I mean, they put a lot of stuff in there. Tomatoes, I think, and you've got your chili powder, coriander, salt. So it's basically just make your favorite lamb curry. But, don't make a dry curry, for one. I don't even think you can call it dry curry.
Yeah, but also not too saucy because...
Not too saucy. You want the semi-thick, but there has to be sauce. There has to be sauce.
Yeah, there has to be sauce, but
thick sauce.
Yeah, it should be thick and not runny.
Yes. Okay. Then what you're going to do is, if you've got 4 people, you're going to need 2 loaves of bread. Okay. Not 1 loaf of bread for 4 people. It's 2 loaves of bread for 4 people, because you're going to take your bread, and this is non-negotiable. You take your bread, you cut it in half. Okay. Then you take your knife and you take out the center of the loaf of bread. But try to cut it out in, like 1 block, because you're going to use it. So just hollow it out, okay? Not completely, obviously. You still want enough bread on the sides to soak up all that deliciousness. Then tilt it up so that you've got your half of loaf of bread like a big bowl meets glass, and fill it up with your curry. I mean, fill it up until you've got sauce coming over the sides. Fill that thing up. Take the piece of bread that you'd cut out and just stick it on top. And
you've got it.
And it looks like this. And that is a bunny chow. And I mean, I love bunny chow. My brother, believe it or not, makes a killer bunny chow.
I'm not sure I would like to try that, because I know you lot like spices a lot more than I can tolerate.
This is true. It's a very spicy bunny chow. The last time I had the bunny chow that he made, I ate, I didn't want to stop eating, but I had to because my mouth needed a second. I ate it all like an hour later anyway. But that is a bunny chow, and it is by far one of my favorites. I do believe you're about to cover one of my favorite desserts.
Well, I hope so. It's probably not your absolute favorite one, because I don't have a good recipe for that one.
Oh, true.
Yeah. But I can cover the next best thing, I suppose. It would be the Cape Brandy Tart, or otherwise known as the Tipsy Tart.
Because it leaves you tipsy.
Because, well, it can if you use too much brandy. And a lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of people actually do at the end, after they've baked it, make an actual reduction of the brandy. And absolutely soak it in that. Yeah. So yes, you can get tipsy from it.
Well, I guess, that's the whole point of a tipsy tart. If you're going to put alcohol in something, do it properly.
Yeah, exactly. Just like a traditional fruit cake that is forever soaked in brandy.
Oh, you're such a fruit cake.
True.
But for those of you who don't know, the reason why I chuckled, we sometimes call people, tell them, you're such a fruitcake. Which basically means, I don't know, how would you say that? How would you explain if you call somebody a fruitcake? I mean, it's not derogatory. It's an affectionate way of calling them...
A little bit crazy, a little bit cracked.
Yeah, a little silly. Weird and unique-ish.
Yes.
You're such a fruitcake. But please resume your recipe. Pardon my interruption.
No problem. Okay, so what you're going to need for the tipsy tart is 250 grams of dates, 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 1 cup of boiling water, half a cup of margarine, 1 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, half a tablespoon of salt, and 1 cup of chopped assorted nuts. You can pick whatever kind of nuts you want. Usually,
unless you're allergic.
Unless you're allergic, of course. And don't use peanuts, please. Not peanuts. Peanuts are not nuts.
Almonds?
Almonds are fine, or you can use macadamias, but the traditional one that we use is pecan nuts. Pecan nuts are the best.
They are quite lovely.
They are quite ugly, but they are so good. Especially when you use them that time.
Okay. What's next?
So what you're going to do is you're just going to cut the dates into little pieces because dates are quite sticky.
Dates are
And
weird.
then you mix in the baking soda and the water. Just let the dates soak in that for a while. Then you take the butter and the sugar and just mix those together so that it becomes a little creamy mixture. Then you mix it in with the eggs. And after that you sift in all the other dry ingredients. Then you pour in the dates and the nuts and the baking soda mixture, and then you mix that whole shebang together. Then you put that into a baking tray and you bake it. Now for the syrup that you're going to make, to pour over it, you're going to need 1 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of butter, 3/4 of a cup of water, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla flavoring. You can, of course, if you want to be fancy, you can use real vanilla seeds in pots. But that's quite expensive here in South Africa, so we tend to just go with the flavoring.
Yeah.
A little bit of salt and then half a cup of brandy. Of course, the amount of brandy is variable according to taste. So you just,
It is called tipsy tart after all.
After all. So you just cook all of that together for 5 minutes. And then once your baked tipsy tart is cool, you just pour that very carefully over it, let it soak through. Then you can serve it with hot custard or ice cream, whichever your preference is. In winter, they usually will serve it hot with custard. In summer, you will serve it cool with ice cream.
I'll have it hot.
Quite easy.
I'll have it hot either way, with custard and ice cream. Please and thank you.
I'm not surprised.
Didn't we just say in South Africa, just give us one of everything?
True. Now that and tipsy tart.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, just for interest's sake, I've seen people locally, when they're on a diet, okay, it just means instead of eating 1 big steak, eat 2 small minute steaks.
Oh no.
I have actually seen this. This is a diet. Instead of eating, and it works. I shit you not, it works. Instead of eating 1 large steak as you would usually do, just eat 2 minute steaks.
But
That is a South
minute
African
steaks are
diet.
such tiny little things. Even 2 of them might make 1 proper steak.
True. I mean, minute steaks are like, they're like this. They're these tiny
Yeah.
little thingamabobbies, you know, when you want a steak, and they're about this thick. You know, when you want a steak, you want a steak, you know, like this
Yeah,
thick and about
big
this
proper
big,
steak.
and with cheese and avocado and biltong and
Ooh.
all of that on top. Oh, now I want a biltong and avo steak.
I just want biltong, period.
Oh, yes, biltong. And I've mentioned biltong to you guys before because biltong is not jerky. I
No,
will say
it's
this
not.
again. I can never emphasize this enough. Biltong is not jerky. This is biltong. This is biltong. Okay. And this is jerky. There's a big difference. Okay. If jerky is trying to pass itself off as biltong, it's jerking your chain.
Yes. Jerky is absolutely dead, dried, and absolutely, it's like a dried boot. Biltong
Horrible.
sometimes it's horrible. It's still moist and soft and absolutely delicious.
Yes.
it
I want
tastes
biltong so
completely
badly now. Fuck, I want chili sticks.
Yeah,
Or
naturally.
barbecue biltong chunks.
Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice.
Food was probably one of the worst things we could have chosen to talk about because I'm starving now.
Yeah, starving
and
and it's a subject we can talk about for absolute ever.
Yeah, we're foodies. Okay?
Yeah.
Me and Keita, we consider ourselves foodies. We love good food. We love talking about food. And when we get bad food, it's an absolute bloody disappointment for us. Like I I tried out, somebody suggested that I try out more of the local places a couple of days ago. So I ordered a burger, just a burger and fries. Because if a place can't make a burger, then it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But I ordered a burger and fries from, a local restaurant called Ricardo's. And the burger, I don't know, the bread wasn't very nice. It tasted more like there was more crust than bread on the inside.
Oh, no.
Those very hollow type of buns.
European style.
The chicken wasn't spiced properly. The sauce was like water. I think the only thing nice on the burger was the lettuce. The lettuce was fresh and crisp.
It's tragic that when you say that lettuce is the best thing about the burger. That should tell you everything you need to know.
I know. And then the fries, and you know me, how I am about my fries, my slop chips. Nice thick cut slop chips. These things looked like they were refried month-old fries. And they tasted about the same. They also didn't put on any kind of salt or spice at all. It was horrible. It was really a bad experience.
That's terrible. That's awful.
So that's all. We enjoy that. We love to talk about different foods, whether they are traditionally local or whether they're just foods we get from around. They did not compare even remotely to boermeisie.
Oh, no, you speak of boermeisie. That was the best local restaurant I've been to personally.
Yes. If you guys ever visit South Africa, just come to a little corner in Krugersdorp and visit a place called the Boermeisie. Okay? It's the treehouse, the Boermeisie. And it's a bed and breakfast, but they have this very nice restaurant attached. And I'm telling you, oh no, I think we overate that day because when you get there, you get a focaccia. Okay, this isn't, you don't have to pay for it or anything. You get a focaccia. Then you order your starter, your main meal, and your dessert, and it's all just good, better, and best, following one after the other. And it was torture because we didn't have enough space.
Even though that day, when we went, we haven't eaten all day. No, actually we did, didn't we?
No, we hadn't eaten that day.
No, we hadn't eaten all day. And we just went there, and even after starving ourselves all day, we still couldn't finish. Well, we did finish, but...
We did finish, but we felt it afterwards. I think my stomach was trying to climb out of my body just in an attempt to...
For the next 2 days.
But it was worth it. Oh, was it ever worth it?
The thing that surprised me about them is the prices wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
It was very, very decently priced, and you get very much superior food. That was what surprised me. Yes,
they don't give you like fancy restaurant portions for a price. They gave you portions for price, in my personal
Exactly. Yes.
It was just so good.
So good.
We have to stop talking about food now because I'm going to chew my arm off. When we're done here, the best I can get my hands on is either French toast or toast with avocado. And my avocados are going off. But I think that pretty much covers, our favorite Safa foods for today, and then some. I mean, we covered everything from some of our favorite recipes to some of our favorite and not favorite restaurants. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want us to do this a bit more regularly, maybe review some of the local restaurants or tell you a bit more about local foods, or if you want any kind of, if you want us to go specifically into recipes and how they're made, I mean, I would have loved to actually be able to make it for you, but I don't have a kitchen to showcase these dishes for you, unfortunately.
I can sure we can arrange it and bring you here and do it here if you want.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys
are
interested,
something like that. If people are interested enough to do it.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested, and if you would like us to actually see, or if you would like to actually see us prepare some of these foods, instead of just talking about them, then let us know down below, and maybe we could do that every now and then, just make some foods for you and show you how they look and how to enjoy them, or go out and show you some of our favorite restaurants.
I'd love that idea. That's actually awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we always do something when we get together anyway, so...
True. It might be nice to not just order in pizza and then go nuts about it.
Well, you never know. We'll just film the pizza. This is a pizza in its natural habitat, right before it goes into my stomach. Thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you, Keita, for doing this with me.
It was quite fun. I enjoyed it.
It was. But thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to leave me a like down below. And as I said, remember, if you guys want us to actually do some cooking for you, then put it in the comments down below and we'll see what we can do. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!